We have so much to talk about. We have so much to laugh about. All here on Finkley.
Hey, what's up? It's actress and singer Christine Horn, and you are watching The Michael Finkley Show. Boom.
Imagine being a black young male at an early age and being told that your ancestry includes President Thomas Jefferson. Our guest today tells his story.
Reverend W. Douglas Banks is here to discuss him being the fifth great-grandson of President Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings.
Next, Michael Finkley.
Next.
If I can make it through the night, just to see a brighter side, 'cause I've been working all my life just to make.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Michael Finkley Show. Thanks for joining us today. Happy Black History Month. Today's the last day, but the celebration continues because we celebrate Black History 365. I was at church yesterday, and that's why my voice is kind of gone. I was singing, and God is just good in the midst. And so one of the saints said, I am Black 365 days a year, all my life. So that shows that I get to celebrate. I'm going to celebrate Black History 365. I'm Black all year long, so why not continue the celebration? Join me in this journey. And I remember very much so, I was in grade school and very limited in learning about Black history, only during the month of February, some little sprinkles here and there. I didn't fully understand my culture, my history, until I went to college, which is my HBCU, Allen University in Columbia, South Carolina. And so I found myself there. I became quote unquote woke. I did. And learned about myself, learned about my history, and learned about what it means truly to be a Black male in society. And some things that we didn't learn in grade school in the history books, I learned there and continuously learned them as well as life went on. So our guest today really opened my eyes even more so. I heard his story a few years ago on the Oprah Winfrey Show. And when I started my platform, I was brought back to his story. And I'm like, I need to have him on. I need to have that conversation. This is a conversation that, again, you don't see in the history books in grade school. And sometimes not even in college as well. This is history. This is the current. This is the now. Reverend W. Douglas Banks, who is a Black male. He is the fifth great-grandson of President Thomas Jefferson. It's been proven through DNA. He's been knowing this since he was very, very small, and it's true. But some people today are so ignorant, they still don't believe it. But after using DNA, it's there. So again, you get to learn more about what's not in the history books via this platform. So when we come back, Reverend Banks, back in a moment.
Coming up, we have Reverend W. Douglas Banks. Back in a moment.
What's up, everybody? This is actor Darren DeWitt Henson, and you're watching The Michael Finkley Show. Stay tuned, because there's a whole lot more.
On the next Michael Finkley Show, Tammy McCautry is with us as she talks about her incredible show. Tammy, don't miss the next Michael Finkley, Wednesday.
Hello everybody, it's Finkley from the Finkley Experience. We're an educational consulting firm that specializes in first-generation education. So we assist students with their college and career endeavors. We train school administrators on the state of first-generation students. And also, we partner with colleges and universities to assist with their first-generation population for easy transition from high school to college. So if you're looking for a presenter or a speaker that presents on these topics and so much more, visit our website at thefinkleyexperience.com and learn about all that we do. We're looking forward to working with you. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Now, y'all, my next guest, he is the fifth great-grandson of President Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings. He is Reverend W. Douglas Banks. Thanks for being with us.
Oh, thank you, Brother Finkley, man. It's an honor and a joy to be on your show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for saying yes. We appreciate you. When we saw your story years ago, way back when on Oprah Winfrey Show, I'm like, oh my gosh, it really opened my eyes as a youngster. Until this day as an adult, it still opens my eyes, and I know people still can't believe it, right? When it's never a shocker. But let's go back and find out all about your family, your history. How do you define the term family personally today?
Wow, that's great. I define family as chosen friends, because family, we don't have all the time the option of being able to be responsible with who we're connected to, by blood, but we can choose to not just be related to them by blood, but to share a genuine friendship with them that honors them. And so whether it is very much extended family or even the closest family, brothers and sisters, I like to define it by chosen friends, because you don't get to always pick your family, but you do get to pick your friends. And if you can make friends out of your family, then you've done a great job.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Yes, sir. Great job. And so again, you are again in a very unique position, right? When hearing about the stories from your older generation, your older family members about this, how was your reaction that you're related to President Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings?
Yes. So, from my earliest remembrance, that has always been information that I've known. Mm-hmm. My mother shared it with me when I was a young child, that we were related to Thomas Jefferson through the children that he had through the enslaved woman, Sally Hemings. And as a child, it didn't make too much of a difference to me because I was a black kid growing up in Ohio. I couldn't cash that in to make it, worth anything. And I remember specifically in third grade sharing that information in my class. And not only did the kids laugh, but the teacher laughed and called me a liar. So it was, and I'm ancient, Michael. So that was back in the 70s when, and I was the only black kid in my school at that time because I was bussed in. So it was a really tense racial time. And so for me to share that information that I knew because of the oral history my mom shared was not well received. But it was never a time I doubted it because my mom told me. Yeah. And so you understand, the oral history of African people, how we've shared it. We always make sure that we call the name of the generation before so they're not forgotten. And my mother had the awesome privilege of living in a household where her great-grandmother would visit her. And her great-grandmother was the granddaughter of Madison Hemings, who she remembered well. And so Madison Hemings is the son of Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings. And so just passing that information down was good enough for me. And when I share the story, I ask people, you happen to know your great grandparent? And a lot of people do. Would you believe them if they told them about their grandparent? Was absolutely. And so it was never any doubt in my mind. And my mother shared this oral history that was rich. And Thomas Jefferson just kind of happens to be a part of our family lineage because we've traced our lineage further beyond that. And so he's a really interesting piece of that family tree that garners a lot of attention because he's such a conflicted character that I think really more than anybody else represents America best.
Yeah, definitely. How far did you go back?
So there's an unknown African woman that was brought over here on a slave ship. And we don't know her name, but we do know she was brought on that. And there's some who have named her Baya Baye in some of the records, but we don't know that for sure. And she was taken captive by a man by the name of John Hemings, who was in control of the ship that she was a part of. So she's full-blood African. And John Hemings does what white men did during that time, who owned people as property and took advantage of that relationship and raped her and had children by her. And so out of John Hemings' relationship with this unknown African woman comes Elizabeth Hemings. And Elizabeth Hemings is going to be the mother of Sally Hemings. Elizabeth was purchased by John Wales, a very well-to-do statesman during that time. And he has several children by Elizabeth Hemings. She was known as Betty Hemings. And one of those is Sally. And this is really gets kind of funky here, because John Hemings has his own family as well. With he's married. He has a daughter by the name of, I'm sorry, not John Hemings, John Wales has a daughter by his wife, who's Martha Wales. And Martha Wales ends up marrying Thomas Jefferson. And so how Elizabeth, so you got John Wales, who has children through Elizabeth Hemings and has children through his wife. So the children of John Wales are Martha Wales, and also the children of Betty Hemings, which is Sally. So Sally Hemings and Martha Wales are half sisters. And so Thomas Jefferson marries Martha Wales, and her father eventually dies, and she's the only child. And so she gets all of his estate. And that's really how Thomas Jefferson got all of his money. He got rich off of that because he inherited, along with his wife, hundreds of slaves and property. And as it turns out, Martha Wales passes away earlier in their life, and he has children by her. But he's left with the inheritance of Elizabeth Hemings and her children, one of which is Sally, who's the half sister of his now deceased wife, who looks a whole lot like his wife. And historians say around the age of 14 years old, and he's in his 40s. He takes her and begins having children with her. And so, there's been a lot of trying to depict it as a romantic relationship, because Thomas Jefferson never had any children by any other. He didn't get remarried. But there's no way you can really look at that honestly in its context and see any romance. You got a 14-year-old child who's owned by this a man who has no power to say no. And he's not only her elder in terms of so many years, but owns her. And he takes sore advantage of her in that relationship. It's a modern day R. Kelly story, Michael. Ancient, I should say. And it is the third president of the United States. This is the architect of modern democracy. This is the man who writes, "We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal," but he's doing all this behind the scenes. And so this is why I say he's so conflicted, because he's brilliant as a politician and as a government establishmentarian. We cannot get around that in our country. But at the same time, he's so flawed because of these things that he's done in his private spaces. And I don't find any other representation better of America than Thomas Jefferson. Brilliant and flawed at the same time.
Yeah.
So that, and so their child, they had Madison Hemings, They had 6 total. 2 of them didn't live. 4 lived. Madison and Eston were the youngest. He eventually, in his death, frees them. The other 2 that are older just kind of disappeared into the Washington, D.C. area. They just left the plantation, but no one ever went and got them. Madison moved to the Ohio area with his brother Eston. And you can go on the Monticello site now and see words that Madison wrote, because this is a fascinating thing I found out. All the while, when he was a young boy, he knew that Thomas Jefferson was his father. He knew that, but he had no idea that this man who was his father was actually the president of the country. He didn't know that information until after he passed away. And so Madison became vocal about him being the son of Thomas Jefferson. There's articles that are written in the Chillicothe newspapers, as you can see, where there says bastard Negro child claims to be son of Thomas Jefferson, and he was matter of fact about it. And I just thought about the gall that he had during that time to make that claim. And if he could make that claim during then, where it cost him his life, it was much more than me in my 3rd grade making the claim. That was unbelievable. So I praise God for coming from that kind of stock that's instilled in me. But my mother knew her great grandmother, who was the granddaughter of Madison Hemings. So that's the oral history that we share.
Wow, and continue to share. And so we know that with the white relatives of descendants of Thomas Jefferson, they didn't need to prove anything. They could just say we're related, right? But
exactly, and no one ever asked them for anything, because his children he had through Martha Wales, obviously on that Jefferson side, was very established, and the Monticello Association, and they have rights to be buried there, and I haven't proven it, but I've been told they can even go to Virginia University free of charge, all descendants. So that would be something I would like to tap into for my children, because that would be wonderful. But no one's ever asked them to prove anything. It's only
all had to go through DNA. How did the whole DNA aspect come into play? When did that happen?
So, in the 90s, it was almost like a perfect storm of things that happened. These stories have been told by descendants for many years, and Thomas Jefferson's descendancy is just one story. There are many stories that trace their lineage through other unknown white slave owners and even other presidents. But in the 90s, we had a president by the name of Bill Clinton who had his own issues in the White House, and it became news. And Thomas Jefferson was like his model president. And because they kind of connected and correlated the issues that Bill Clinton had with the discrepancies that Thomas Jefferson had, it kind of became newsworthy. And there was a DNA study done. And I'm not a scientist, so I can't explain how. I just know, humanity is so genius, they can trace DNA back generations to determine paternity and family relation. And they were able to determine that the family line that the white side of Jefferson's family was trying to claim was responsible for the children of Sally. There was no way it could be related. The last name was Carr. They were trying to say it was somebody else because the thought was that Thomas Jefferson was too moral and too high and lofty of an individual to ever have done anything like this.
He was a man, right?
Huh?
He was a man, right?
Yeah, he was very much a man. Okay. Yeah. And, he's a man who created his own God. He wrote his own version of the Bible. But if you read any works by Annette Gordon Reed, she's done a great work and really been able to pinpoint that every time Sally was pregnant, Thomas Jefferson was at Monticello. And so all of these things put together made it very clear that there was no doubt that these oral history stories had truth to them. And Oprah thought it was a great story to share and invited my mother and I and some other family members to meet our white cousins for the first time on television. And they were those from the other side of the family. But there were also some white relatives that we have that are connected with Jefferson's other children through Sally, Eston, and some others who really never knew that they had Black blood running in them. They couldn't really, they kind of ran into roadblocks. And when they found out that we were from the slave side of the family, it brought some revelation to them. And so it was been a wonderful time of choosing friends, you know, family that we've not met before. We're related by blood, and we choose them to be our friends and interconnected and related because we know that we have the same blood DNA. And so that's why my original definition of that, because, you know, blood connects you, but friendship keeps you.
Keeps you. It definitely keeps you. But when we come back, we're going to talk about life after finding out what has been done since after finding out about this in your family. Back in a moment, everybody.
Next, more with Reverend Banks. Don't you go away. Back in a moment.
What's going on, you guys? You're watching the Michael Finkley Show. This is Brian Heath, educator, author, motivational speaker, and stage killer. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you stay tuned in.
And the survey says, we appreciate you so much for watching.
Colors. What the? Oh God. This one. Yeah, right, Marine. So I guess we don't stand for colors, huh? I'm sorry. I was starving. What was you eating on anyway? Let me put you on. This that Lucy's hoopie pie. Okay. Hey, but before you go, Marine, what can I get me one of those? Oh, at all the Super Target locations, Sergeant. Okay. And where can you get your chart sheet at in the morning? On your desk. As long as we track it.
Everybody, welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. We're still chatting with the fifth great-grandson of President Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings. He is Reverend W. Douglas Banks. Life after finding out the story, when it came out nationally, you've been on different platforms talking about it. How has life been since that actually happened to you all?
Thank you. Yeah, it's, you know, it's been wonderful because we've been able to connect in a different way with relatives that we didn't know. We knew they existed, but we didn't know them personally. And the intent of the Oprah show was to connect, you know, the white side of the family and the Black side of the family, and it accomplished that. My mother really took that to heart, and she became a strong advocate for racial unity amongst and using our family as an example. There's been a couple of groups and foundations that kind of birthed through that as a result of that. I can remember on the Oprah show, they treated us to lunch after the show, all of us, and they asked me to offer a prayer before we ate. And we were all holding hands. And Michael, this was a powerful moment because I remember holding hands there, and I recalled in my mind the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., where he said he had a dream that one day the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners would sit down together at the table of brotherhood. And I thank God at that moment that this was physically happening.
Yeah.
And everybody was really, oh my God, they were really overcome by that. And I didn't really think too much of it at the moment. It just kind of, the Holy Spirit just recalled it to my memory. But out of that, people were really profoundly affected by that. And an organization called Coming to the Table was birthed through that, which to this day exists to bring to the table different races, different people, to reach reconciliation and to find common ground. To this day, it was kind of birthed through that moment. And my mom was a big part of that before she passed away. And we've been invited on a few television shows across the years. Ancestry.com more recently did a commercial in 2017 to commemorate the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And they wanted to bring, it was an advertisement for them, but they wanted to recreate the picture of the signing of the Declaration of Independence and put in the room people who were descendants of the original signers. And so across the years, the people who were descendants of the original signers looked totally different. And they did an excellent job of, they brought us out to LA and did this wonderful commercial. And there were, Black people, Asian people, Latino people, white women. When originally, if you remember the picture, it was just all white men and their white hair. And so the picture has changed much, and it was a wonderful representation. But it was, interesting when they did that commercial, they interviewed me as well to do a private commercial, and they did a little 30-second snippet of an hour-and-a-half interview that they put together for their marketing. And it made it really seem like when they put it together that I was some guy who was just really happy just to be connected and related to Thomas Jefferson. And man, when that commercial came out, Black Twitter roasted me. They came after me. They made all kinds of videos and retweeted it and said I was some, Uncle Tom guy, sellout. The one guy made this video that said I was mentally ill. It was horrible. And so what I did was I wrote an article I used that moment to write an article that eventually got published in the Huffington Post to get a larger platform to explain what I feel and what I think about my connection to Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings. Right. And so that article was published nationwide, actually internationally, and it got a lot of acclaim, and it began to be noticed by other entities and other people, and began to open up doors for me to go speak across the nation about it, and even locally. And so what's happened now is at this very moment, I am an adjunct professor at Thomas Jefferson University here in Philadelphia, teaching a class on my family history and Thomas Jefferson in an age of diversity.
Oh, man.
And so all of that really has transpired since the Oprah show. So at this point, I'm considered a spokesman and now a scholar in this area, and it's just my family history that I talk about. So God has just opened up doors that I'm carrying the mantle my mother left me as her only child, to make sure that our ancestors' names continue to be called and not forgotten, and that each generation becomes more aware of it. So now, my son will have the charge after I'm gone. So it's been very interesting. I'm grateful. I would have never pictured it this way.
Wow. And what a
and now I'm being interviewed by Michael Finkley. So it's even better.
Bless your heart. Oh, what a legacy you are leaving behind, sir. So I must ask, as the picture behind you, the estate of Thomas Jefferson, do you have rights to this estate?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's my house back there. Yeah. No, actually, I have this up here just to remind myself, not necessarily of Thomas Jefferson, but the people who I'm connected to that built this place. You know, that the African slaves that he owned built this place. Everything that Thomas Jefferson is known for was subsidized by what they did in terms of making a bed for him, giving him his meals, giving him the quill to sign his name on the Declaration of Independence. Everything that he is known for was subsidized and made possible by the African people that he owned and even produced through Sally Hemings. And so it's a reminder to me. They've done a great job of making it, a place you can go visit. And now they've included Sally's story. One of the things that I have been very adamant about, even as conflicted as Thomas Jefferson is, and there was a long time when I was actually embarrassed to be related to him because of what he did to Sally. I didn't want to be connected with someone who could be so vile. But I had to come to the realization that I don't have any choice over the ancestry or DNA that's in my body. I didn't do anything to produce myself, but I do have a choice of what I do with it. And all of us, have that wonderful opportunity to, if we understand where we came from, to gather the bright parts, to be aware of the dark parts, so we don't repeat them and move in that way, but take the best of what we've been given and move forward. And so when I look at Monticello, I'm grateful now that they're including Sally's story and even Madison's story, because the solution is not pulling Jefferson down, it's lifting up the voices that have not been heard. Sally Hemings is really a founding mother of our country, a first lady. Michelle Obama before there was one. Tenacity that she had to make sure her children would enjoy freedom even when she would not. She negotiated that deal with Thomas Jefferson, and I'm grateful to be from that strong stock.
Amazing, sir. Amazing. Even after all that's been said and done, right, through DNA, through documentation, do people still come to you or have you heard of even currently that people still refuse to believe that this is true?
Oh yeah, there's still people. And even if you look at the Oprah show that's on YouTube, there's plenty of people in the comments that insist, this is still an untruth being shared. There are just some people who are bent on not accepting what is evident, by so many authorities at this point. It's not just a story that's been passed down in my family. It's verifiable now by so many other, people and historians and even science now. But yeah, there are some people who refuse to accept and believe, but they don't come from me. Not no more.
You got that right, sir. You got that right. So how can our viewers, how can the Fink fam continue to follow this journey on your social media?
Find me at wdouglasbanks.com. W as in William, douglasbanks.com. You can find me on all platforms at WD Banks in Instagram or W Douglas Banks on Twitter and Facebook. But if you Google me and put it in the search bar, W Douglas Banks, I'm sure to pop up. And I do respond as well. So we're on YouTube. We're doing our best. So I appreciate the opportunity for you to expose what's happening in my life and what God's been doing. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Thank you. And thank you for being a part of Black history. Thank you.
God bless you.
Same to you. Back in a moment, everybody.
This is Grammy-nominated Lavelle Crawford. You know me. But you are watching my man, Michael Finkley, on the Michael Finkley Show. Keep watching. This brother going places.
Keeping your skin flawless and clean is important, and I have the products just for you. Welcome to Mimi's Natural Pantry, where she specializes in homemade handcrafts, including lye and goat milk soaps, body butters, and sugar scrubs. All items are handmade products. All items have simple ingredients and are vegan friendly. In a world where you can barely pronounce many of the ingredients in your everyday products, Mimi's Back to Nature offers an alternative choice for those who are ready to get back into nature. Ready to order? Visit their website at mimisnaturalpantry.com. All orders over $50 have free shipping up to 25 pounds.
What's up, guys? So it's something that I have to really tell you, and this is something personally. Life is only one thing that matters, and that's that you have happiness in your life. Life can be miserable. Life can be hard at times, but you have to do whatever you have to do to be happy. Money don't buy happiness, so take money off of the focus and put happiness as your focus. Once you start putting happiness as your focus, you will learn that no matter how much material things you get, you will never, ever, ever get happy as long as you worry about the material. You worry about the outside. Once you focus on the inside, then you will find true happiness. And I remember it was a time when I had seen this for myself, noticing that it was times when I had less money that I was more happy than times I had money, simply because I was appreciating what I had. I was appreciating the things that I was coming across. I was appreciative about every little thing, and you have to stay that way. Be appreciative about every little thing, because everything is a blessing. Everything is a privilege. Everything is a blessing to have. So you got to always keep that mindset, is that no matter what kind of car I get, no matter how much money I get, I'm going to make sure I'm good with myself within, because that's only outside things. And I always say, money can create temporary happiness, or it can distract you from really being happy, but you're truly sad. Remember that money can create happiness, temporary happiness, and that depending on how you use your money, if you're sad, money can create a distraction. So don't ever let outside things distract you from your true happiness. Find your peace. Find what makes you happy. Find what makes you want to get up every single day and come out here and be the best you. Find those things and cherish it and use that to your advantage.
Hi, Barty Toto here, known for the Power of Asking book, Kids for Gratitude, Barty Toto Media, and Disrupt Your Brand podcast. You are watching the Michael Finkley Show.
School districts, organizations, nonprofits, are you in search of a new promotional products company? Seegers Promotional Products is a Black-owned national company with over 780,000 products to choose from. Compared to other promotional products companies, they have the lowest prices in the industry. From pens, bags, shirts, they got you covered. They always remember that you are the customer and you come first. They always promise fast production and also fast delivery. With Seegers Promotional Products Company, you truly have the best. Check out their website at seegerspromotions.com and also on Facebook and LinkedIn. And tell them Finkley sent you. On the next Michael Finkley Show, Tammy McCautry is with us as she talks about her incredible show. Tammy, don't miss the next Michael Finkley, Wednesday. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. I hope that you learned something from our guest today. Thank you so much, Reverend Banks, for being with us and sharing your story with us as well. Again, you don't see this in the history books. So again, you must go out and find the information for yourself if interested in this type of thing. I know I am. Thank you again for being who you are, and thank you for contributing to Black History Month. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Michael Finkley Show. Ring the bell for notification. We'll see you an email saying, hey, new content's uploaded. Please listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And for more information about what we do here on the show, visit our website at michaelfinkleyshow.com. Of course, YOU42, please visit us at YOU42.com and watch our content there as well. And some exclusive stuff coming along the way too, so be on the lookout. Thank you so much for watching, and guess what? We'll see you next time. Have a good one.